Morning, VC. All right, back on to share what has come in the door this week. That's what we always do here on this channel, because there's always records coming in. That's just that's how this household functions. I had been listening to this Valentina Gonkarova Ocean album an absolute shit ton. It's so good. And so I had to track down her other records. There's 2 comps. That's really all there is, and there's a cassette out there, but that's tough to find. At least what I'm seeing on Discogs. I'm sure there may be other things. I guess there's a CD on Leo Records of Ocean. I wouldn't mind having that CD box of at least some of the stuff on Ocean. She's an electric violin player from Ukraine. I think from Ukraine, possibly she's part Ukrainian, part Russian. But yeah, these comps came in from 87 to 91, recordings volume 1 on the Shukai. I think Shukai label, maybe? I don't know. And it's cool, they show pictures of the original master tapes. And Stunty advised that he likes these better, but these are more experimental than in nature on a lot of it than Ocean, even though Ocean is also very improvised. Recordings volume 2 as well came in, and these have been reissued recently, so they should be available. I got the original copies, just because they weren't very expensive. I really like the opening piece and the closing piece on this. The middle sounded off to me. I think the middle piece that she's playing with Sergei Letov, saxophonist. And reading the liner notes, I think that stuff was practices or rehearsal improvisations that were really never meant to be heard, but here they are on this comp. Interesting stuff. Definitely sounds I don't want to say unfinished, just because it's improvised music, but yeah, still good. So happy to have gotten those found fairly quickly. I've been jamming this cassette, Sonic Youth, the live show from Athens 2002, that I got from Henry Owings, and I've been wanting to hear more of that era of Sonic Youth. It's really melodic stuff that I dig. So I picked up Sonic Youth Nurse, double LP. Geffen. This is what, a UME reissue from, I can't remember what year they reissued this, 2015 maybe? Something like that. So this was just sitting in Lunchbox. So this was acquired, I think 2004 originally on this, but really good. Even Mazzy's, I think, championed this one. So what's next? Yeah, there was a record on the wall that I saw when I picked up the Sonic Youth, and I decided I wasn't going to get it right then, and then I was like, I made the decision to get this record, so I went back later in the week to see if it was still there, and it was. So I picked up Swans, Filth. This is an original on Neutral, a US original. I think there were German copies also, maybe, something like that. New York scene, that early 80s scene, heavy, experimental. Let me show you the LP. It's in beautiful condition. He wrote VG+++ on it. Yeah, here's your Neutral label. So I didn't have any Swans in the collection, so we figured we'd start here. A good place to start. Still has the original price sticker on it of $10, or at least a price sticker of $10 on it from Plan 9 out of Richmond. Scott says it should be the 1983 or 4, whatever year this was. Price sticker. It wasn't $10. I can tell you that, but the right price. This was also, I think, from the same collection. And these next records were all cheap. One of the lackeys got a hold of the price gun again. Faith No More, We Care a Lot. And this is the era with Jim Martin. I love Jim Martin on guitar. And fuck yeah, man. This is pretty good stuff. Mortem Records. So early Faith No More. Mike Borden on drums. Just a killer drummer. So I picked that up. It was funny. Sherv had sent me a link to a VC channel, Vinyl Hunters. These guys in England. And I guess it's a guy and his grandfather. And I've been watching a few. The grandfather's a riot. And it's funny because they're called the Vinyl Hunters, but they kind of just go around and not buy anything and just complain about prices. Now I get it because they're rambling off these prices of records over there, and they're in pounds, and pounds is, you know, the top currency in the world still. And yeah, prices are way out of line. We know this, but over there it's even worse. Good Lord. But it was cool because they went to a shop that Sherv found when he was over there in London, maybe last year or the year before, and it was a fantastic, just amazing shop. He says one of the best he's ever set foot in. And they went there, and it was just as advertised. And the younger guy pulled out 2 Faith No More records, and that's what he got. And it just so happened one of them was this one. It was just ironic that I just watched that video, and then I've never run across it. It's an original. I've never run across any Faith No More records here in Charlotte. They just don't turn up, or at least I'm not seeing them. Maybe they get gone quick before I can get to them. I don't, you know, who knows. But it's a band I really dig. I've got most everything on CD, like The Real Thing, which I like the next record much better than this one. I just really, Jim on guitar just was amazing. This is a fucking masterpiece, Angel Dust. My God. Yeah, every song is killer on this. And I saw Faith No More live once on the Album of the Year tour. Highly underrated record. This is a great record. I would love to have all of these on vinyl. I've run across Angel Dust once on vinyl at Noble, but he had a big stack of Russian boots, and it was a Russian bootleg, and he wasn't asking pennies for it, so I didn't get it. Looking back, I probably should have got it. I just never see these records on vinyl. But I went to this show. It was here at, I was more than likely named Blockbuster Pavilion at the time. It's now PNC Pavilion. It changes who sponsors the place all the time. And it was the guitar player they had it wasn't Jim, and he was not good. He was way off. I don't know what his deal was. He just wasn't. I mean, this sounds really good recorded wise, but man, he couldn't keep up with the band, or I just remember he was missing notes. Like, he was just like, you could really tell he was struggling. Maybe he was on the sauce. Who knows what he was on? But that was a pretty disappointing performance, because it's the only time I was ever able to see Faith No More, and I forget who was with them that night. But anyway, a couple more records from in Lunchbox there. These were 15 apiece. Roy Ayers, Ubiquity. Everybody Loves the Sunshine. I've always passed on this because of price. This is a sealed copy, so they didn't know which pressing. There is no barcode. It's not a reissue. But there was a ton of original year pressings. Just it got pressed at every pressing plant in the U.S. that you can imagine. But yeah, 1976, really, really good Roy Ayers record. Dope indeed. For that price, I couldn't grab that fast enough. And yeah, there was a decent jazz drop. And I grabbed this one. This one has eluded me for, I don't know, 7 years or so. Hard Bop from the Jazz Messengers on Columbia. And it's a 6-eye original copy, first press. Everything checks out, the dead wax and all of that business. $15. In the cover is, I don't know, VG. It's got writing on the back. Maybe VG, and it's got a split top, so VG minus. But the record's VG at least. I haven't spun this yet, and it just looks. It might clean up to be even better than that. But yeah, I just got this in, so looking forward to spinning this. Who's all on this one? Let's see if it tells me. God, I don't even have the lineup. Anyway, Jazz Messengers, an early incarnation. And then I also grabbed this CD. I'm trying to remember why. I know why, but the song I heard. Oh yeah, they're opening for Tool, and I've seen Tool endless times. I've seen them every time they've come to Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. It's kind of like, how the Fish fans follow Fish. Well, I've followed Tool like that since the beginning. I've seen them in all kinds of venues, all over the place. Now, I've missed 2 shows. Well, one so far. There was one in Charlotte. I can't remember if John went. John might have gone to it. Digital Gramophone. It was downtown. And there was a show I already had tickets for at Snug Harbor the same night. And Tool's prices have gone through the roof. I mean, it's hundreds of bucks. And they play in these venues that acoustics are a toilet, like Bojangles Coliseum. If you ever go to a show there, don't. It's just, I've seen Tool there like twice. It's awful sounding in there compared to all the other shows I've seen them play. Because it's concrete walls, and it just don't resonate the sound. I mean, it's how the crowd noise bounces around when you're in there at a hockey game. Well, it does it during those concerts, unless you're right up front, in front of the speakers. But anyway, this band is opening for them. I think they're originally from Massachusetts, but are living in Berlin. And that's Elder, and this is Innate Passage. I don't know if it's on vinyl. I saw the CD and grabbed it. Catastasis, the first song, is epic. This band to me sounds like if Tool and 80s synth Rush had a baby. And I usually don't like the synth in my rock like that. They make it work somehow. My God, that Catastasis song is epic. Really, really good. It sticks in your brain. This is going in the car. Yeah, good band. I sent a link to Build the Vinyl Verse. He said, "Oh yeah, this passed around the circles of the prog community recently." He said it wasn't his thing, but I sent a link also to Jim at Channel Rufus, and he's like, "Oh yeah, me and my wife are going to see them open for Tool in Vegas," and he really digs them. They get melodic in all the right heavy ways at times. Hell, there's even a part on that song that sounds like Hiatus Coyote with the keys. Yeah, pretty good stuff. And then lastly, I got this from Dylan at Noble Records. Well, I was just showing the jazz stuff I got out of there in the last video. This is a VG copy of Black Sabbath, Paranoid on the A side, The Wizard on the B side, an original 1970 UK vertical swirl. This belonged to someone named Steve, and he made sure to write his name's so nice he wrote it on there twice. So it's not in the best of shape. But when am I ever going to see this? And that was acquired. Do I need to say anything about Black Sabbath? Well, I've seen them as Black Sabbath twice. I've been to most Ozfests. Some Ozfests it's Ozzy and his band, and some Ozfests it's been Black Sabbath. I mean, I've been in the second row right in front of Tony Iommi here in Charlotte, and that particular show, I had just gone it when the first band was over and when I used to drink heavy, I'd double fist. I got 2 giant beers. Well, at that time I couldn't believe it was the first time I think they were ever over $10, but they were $11 a piece, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe them. If I'm going to spend $11, I might as well get 2 of them and not have to go back in line. So I had 2 giant $11 beers. I just got back to my seat. Well, that might have been standing room there. Anyway, I got back to the second row, and I've got my beers, and Ozzy comes out, and he's running back and forth with this shit-eating grin on his face. And I don't know I guess he saw me with the beers, and he runs over to stage left, grabs this like wooden oak bucket full of water. Why that's there, I don't know. And he runs over and dumps it right on top of my head and knocks both beers to the ground. And I looked down, and all I could do was laugh, and I was like, holy shit, Ozzy Osbourne just dumped a bucket of water on me. That's a story to tell. So there you go. And Sabbath just absolutely just was amazing. Absolutely amazing that night. I want to say the drummer from Faith No More, or had played in Faith No More, was drumming for them that night. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, great show. Hope you're all well. Peace.